on that, or do you want to
Well, let's hold it as
move
a
everything back?
let's hold it as a flexible meeting date,
Absolutely.
and then if we need it, we can use it. Let's all pencil it in on our calendars.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just only, as far as I can see, you know, it's a very robust schedule. But let's just keep it open and see what happens.
Okay, so that work?
For me.
Gives us what we need to know. So now I get my whip out and Bucky's picture. I have two of them.
You know, I do have to admit that, you know, being on video with the staff out here, I'm very excited that we didn't have to do that song for Bucky. Posterity.
Darn.
So.
Okay.
I really like that song.
Okay. All right then, old business, tuition contract revision. Marcia and I met, well, corresponded, yes, met online. We've hammered out some language. We've not brought it for your approval because we've agreed that as long as everybody else agrees, that it should be sent first to Phil Thornton and Ned Draper to look at. Once they've seen it, we can both sides send it to our attorneys and then bring it to the school committee. It's standard language, it's exactly what we talked about before. It's the rollover clause, and it's just cleaning up the language about discontinuing sending kids to make it clearer what that actually means.
Good.
So,
Confused.
yes. Okay, and JTA contract negotiations team. We do have a letter from JTA asking us to open negotiations. We don't, need to commit to opening negotiations yet, but we should certainly be forming our team so that we are ready to go when needed. I will volunteer. Marcia's volunteering. Jane is volunteering.
You're right, Mike.
Excellent. I volunteer.
All right, good. That's our. This is our. This will be our alumni team.
Yes.
This is what we did last time.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, great. Good for the giver.
Thank you for.
Okay. Anything else on JTA contract negotiations now?
Should we be responding to their request?
We just did it in public forum.
We did. Yes,
Okay.
we just did publicly say we publicly formed our committee. Yeah, without setting any dates. Yeah.
Sure. We look forward to contract negotiations.
Yeah. Okay, and shared services roundtable update. I'll quickly update you on I've been going to the shared services roundtable that was formed by East Greenwich, and this will be the third meeting this Saturday. I went to the first meeting, the second meeting. NK is there. This is who's at the table. NK, Coventry, Jamestown, East Greenwich. Exeter West Greenwich was at the first meeting, but not at the second. Warwick was there, and West Warwick was there. And people who were unable to attend but expressed an interest were Exeter West Greenwich and Narragansett and Cherahoe. Okay, so the things that we're discussing, I'm just gonna I'll just call out the topics. Food service, IT services, regional contracts, regional teacher contracts, the idea of having a regional teacher contract, not perhaps too realistic, but the idea of having a regional or shared labor attorney, that might actually be a good strategy in that the same person would have working knowledge of all the contracts and might actually eventually get us to a regional contract. I put in a good word for the one we're using. Special education, the idea of consolidating within the districts, depending on the strengths and needs of certain districts. This is an idea that we've talked about before. The idea that if Jamestown is, has a particularly successful program for autistic children, that we then become the autistic center, and that maybe NK becomes such and such, and South K becomes such and such, and the idea of perhaps saving money, I don't know. It's an idea that's being floated. The idea of going back to the collaborative idea of having Sirico employ the speech pathologist, the special services. And so that districts would contract through Sirico, so that we would not own these employees, we would use them to the extent to which we needed them. Public and non-public textbooks, having a regional clearinghouse. None of these are ideas that haven't been discussed before. Professional development, having districts coordinate their professional development days so that you could share speakers when it's something of nature of interest to others. We did that one year with NK, but I don't think we ever actually shared any speakers. But we did coordinate our calendar, I remember, with them one year so that we could do that, and then of course never did it. And I mentioned food service. So those were the main things that were mentioned, and then the next week, BJ and I went to the quarterly chairs, which was also on the same topic. And I'd say the key thing that came out of that for sharing services was another pitch for the Texas School Board Association Purchasing Group, which supposedly already has several states within it and are getting phenomenal prices. So Tim Duffy, the executive director of RIASC, is contacting them and getting information, but I mean, this is not the first time this group has been mentioned, and someone at the group said you can already get online and purchase through these people. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's Texas School Board Association. But we will certainly pass. I think Tim was thinking of getting somebody in and perhaps inviting the business directors to a meeting with the Texas Board School. Isn't that mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. But that seems like an area we should be certainly looking at pretty aggressively, since purchasing is something we can actually control. And you can jump in there, BJ, if you have things to
well, the thing that I should have brought, you may have it, just one of the things that came up there is a page in the booklet that we received that had a comprehensive, a very comprehensive list of potential shared services, things that I had never really considered.
the RIPEC list.
Right. And it had quite a bit of stuff in there, but that were just potential, working with other systems and so forth. Sort of what Kathy was just talking about with food service and so forth. But this, instead of reinventing the wheel, these are some things that could be tried, that have been tried, or are in place. So.
Well, I don't know if they've been tried or are in place, but they're all areas that we could be looking at. Like,
Okay.
it's got,
that.
yeah. And in terms of the combining of the business departments, which is always, remember the town brought that up. East G said they are not saving any money on that combination.
And North Kingstown, I think, has looked at it and sort of decided that they didn't think they would save any money, and we were hoping to do that. What happened to taking health insurance out of the individual district contracts and statewide health insurance?
That was,
It was vetoed recently
yes.
by the governor.
That's
and
what it
I don't
was.
know why, because I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at that as well. And there must have been something in the bill. Yeah, there must have been, yeah, and I didn't look at the actual bill, but there had to have been something, because that
Right.
was his idea.
Right, and I thought I I think the state, when you said statewide teacher contract, that'll happen.
Region.
But taking health insurance and making a larger statewide pool, that seemed like it would be doable.
Well, we
And
actually talked about that fairly extensively at the quarterly chairs.
Oh.
And